I know and I have to be very confident to say kayak ya udah it kinda tackle the industry.
Betul, actually the market's moving that direction juga.
Which is I'm totally kayak happy karena menurut gue orang Indonesia akan semakin diuntungkan jika semakin banyak player yang menyadari bahwa we have to feed the people with something better.
Yeah. Hey guys, this is Matt, your host. Welcome to our podcast. Hari ini, very special. We have Sinta here, lawyer turned into gimana ya nyebutnya? Penjual mie, entrepreneur on retail. Thank you Sinta for doing this. Sin, tadi I think kayak I give you a bit of heads up lah. Jadi pertama pertanyaan yang selalu gue tanyain adalah that moment apa sih you nyebutnya wahyu yang turun ketika like everyone decided untuk okay, this is me, this is like I wanna do entrepreneurship. Itu kapan sih for you? And at what time, at what conditions? And then karena like we discussed about this, right? Entrepreneurs is not like it's not a piece of cake. It's a very difficult cake gitu. Dan those who actually like choosing untuk masuk ke entrepreneurs like
Yeah.
journey, harusnya sih mereka udah memikirkan dengan baik or
Yeah.
some things, I mean, apa sih namanya ya, motivate them to do so. When was your moment?
Actually for me it's not like a wahyu lightning strike gitu, nggak ada momen itu, tapi lebih kayak it's like a wave gitu. Kayak I think it started from a question and I think this is probably kayak a lot of entrepreneurs have this burning question. First, gue bisa kerja sama orang gak sih? Karena entrepreneur, actually semua entrepreneur pada dasarnya tuh gak suka kerja sama orang. That's something yang we have to be really honest, right? Karena we have this particular idea, whatever the idea is, bahwa lu mau melakukan ini, lu punya misi ini, I mean apapun misinya juga, and those burning desire, lu bisa gak bisa tidur, man.
Bener,
Gitu kan?
gak salah.
Bisa
Kita
tidur,
belum tentu
gitu.
kita bisa kerja buat orang, tapi kita bisa banget ngerjain orang.
Yes, tapi sebenarnya it's like a wave gitu. Kayak lu bisa aja kayak oke, gue ada burning question itu and you start to see kayak oh sebenarnya gue nggak terlalu efektif ya kerja sama orang. I mean kalau kerja sama orang and then you don't have that burning desire, you will think kayak oh I'm good of being a professional gitu kan. Which is by the way both itu kayak very legit work, right? Gitu, entrepreneurs or professionals. Tapi in my case, it's like a wave gitu. To answer you, it's not like a lightning strike, nggak ada wahyu. It started from kayak punya kayak the specific mission, personal, which turns into later on company mission juga. Tapi kayak ada burning desire-nya, terus kayak ada question, what should I do? Those questions kayak what should I do with my life? And terus I think everybody have that, right? Gitu kan. Terus kayak eventually I figure out kayaknya kalau gue tetap kerja sama orang, I will never be able to answer that gitu in my life. Dan gue adalah tipe orang yang awalnya kebetulan gue dulu punya pekerjaan yang juga sangat oke menurut gue pribadi dan sangat menghasilkan juga.
Ini sebelum entrepreneurship ya?
Sebelum entrepreneurship gitu kan. So I was a lawyer by the way before gitu. So it's a very sophisticated job gitu in a way kan kayak. Jadi gue pasti aduh masa kalau gue entrepreneur kan it kind of like very gambling gitu kan. Dan kebetulan gue I was not bad at doing that gitu. Jadi kayaknya susah gitu nge-switch-nya kan. Tapi those burning question, burning desire tetap ada terus tuh, Matt. So, gue sempet dua kaki. So, sempet ada bisnis juga, kecil-kecilan. Tapi I was still a lawyer. And then I figure, susah banget ya dua kaki. Kayak lu satu aja susah jadi sukses gitu kan. Apalagi punya banyak kaki gitu kan. Jadi, for me, it was really kayak never ending question for myself. Terus sebagaimana sejujurnya orang Indonesia kebanyakan kalau lu lagi bingung lu S2.
Yeah, of course. So that's where now it makes sense. Harvard Law School.
Right. So it was actually not because I want to be a lawyer, but because
Midlife
I was so right gitu kayak I was so confused with my life kayak gue mau jadi lawyer atau gue mau jadi entrepreneur, tapi I think we only have one life, right? And in life, it's very difficult to be successful if you don't love what you do, right? Because you have to fine tune your skills, you have to fine tune your network, you have to fine tune yourself every day, you have to have like this pulse check with you and with others
Yeah.
every single day. You have to be better, otherwise you're just gonna be mediocre. And for me kayak it's not the way of living gitu. I think I want to be really good at what I do, so I decide lebih baik gue mencoba menidurkan pertanyaan-pertanyaan itu dengan mencoba sesuatu hal yang baru daripada gue ada di safe zone tapi gue sebenarnya kayak tetap bertanya-tanya gini loh, kalau gue mau jadi entrepreneur gue bisa apa enggak ya gitu. And I have the specific thing I wanna do, specific mission in my life yang gue pengen coba achieve, tapi rasanya kalau jadi waktu itu jadi profesional di bidang lawyer itu makin jauh bukan makin dekat gitu dengan apa yang gue pengen coba kejar in my life. So S2 karena bingung, and then the rest is history gitu. Kayak gue ketemu sama co-founder gue, and then
That was
akhirnya
you ketemu the co-founder during the
yeah, I mean gue ketemu my so I have two co-founder, right? Ron sama Jo. Ron was my co-CEO. Itu gue ketemunya juga karena S2. Kalau Jo gue definitely karena S2 karena dia ada di year yang sama kan sama gue. Jadi so we have like dim sum together, noodle together. I mean we go kan orang Indonesia nggak banyak kan di
Yeah.
sana.
Yeah.
Jadi we're very close gitu, we're friends first gitu. Terus habis itu ketemu sama Ronald nggak di year yang nggak di situ gitu sekolahnya, cuma dia punya saudara kembar itu temen bareng kita. You probably know lah siapa lah ya. Nah, saudara kembar itu yang sebenarnya awalnya itu ngajakin gue sama si Jo itu kayak bisnis lah gitu. Jadi kita ikut lomba-lomba
Oh,
gitu,
really?
lomba bisnis. So yeah, it was actually kayak started with like, very fun gitu, friendly. Inilah ya kayak endeavor together gitu. Terus lomba-lomba barengan. Nah, si temen gue yang saudara kembarnya my co-CEO ini bilang kayak udah lah Shin kita bikin bisnis bareng, was so fun gitu kan. Terus waktu itu gue kayak udah dapat tawaran job lah di beberapa tempat, terus gue kayak masih in limbo kan, kayaknya aduh very risky, so it needs time right to kayak bener-bener pull the trigger and then you jump. So I told him kayak nanti dulu ya gue pikir. Nah near the end of the year gue ngomong sama dia, terus ini anak bilang sama gue, man gue udah bikin company gitu.
Dia yang ngomong.
Ini gue udah bikin company, actually udah ada cap table-nya, udah ada investornya, jadi it was kayak no it's very difficult, dia bilang. Tapi you know what, lu tuh sebenarnya entrepreneur banget, dia ngomong gitu sama gue. Beneran deh, lu harus coba bikin bisnis juga. And then dia kenalin lah sama co-founder gue, which is si Ron yang saudara kembarnya dia. And then we ended up ya udah doing this together.
Gila, this is another great story of like the callings. Beneran, gue selalu bilang kayak gitu. Exactly like gue bilang, you cannot like add more time into life, tapi you can add more life into you punya time.
Very good.
Gitu, kayak, which is like why you're doing at least kayak kalau it doesn't work, at least kayak right? Kayak you udah figure it out dan segala macam, you udah kayak answer that, and then you udah punya penasaran udah hilang. But if it actually works, then like you that fulfillment, right? Gitu. Nah, terus kayak tadi emang beneran ya. I mean sebelum Lemony lo, right? You beneran a lawyers, right? So this is like what I want. Karena I only kayak gue baru found out about this nih just now juga nih kayak. I never kayak gue ngelihat apa namanya si Ron tuh berarti lawyers juga sebelumnya?
No.
Oh no, Joe juga not, right?
No.
Of course not.
No.
Tapi you a lawyer kayak
Yeah,
gitu.
yeah.
Walk me through I understand like what you said before, which is kayak you came from opportunity and problems kayak gitu. See, opportunity that what you call as a wave, right? You see problems, your opportunity. Terus you punya own, I mean the startup before the law startups kayak gitu. Can you tell more about that? Kayak how that shifted from that into the jualan makanan sehat.
Yeah. Makanya kalau ada entrepreneurs ketemu investor suka ngomong gini kan, man, kayak gue tuh nggak peduli ide lo apa, gue tuh invest di orang.
Yeah.
In a way gue percaya banget karena you don't really know whether at the start of your entrepreneurship journey the idea would be the same with what you ended up with gitu. And that was also our story gitu. Di gue waktu itu kita kan mau bikin bisnis bareng, terus the idea came, ya udah kita coba bikin service yang memudahkan orang, basically democratizing a service lah. And at that time karena forte gue adalah law, so I said kayak ada satu service yang it's very expensive even until today. Dan actually itu bisa democratize gitu kan dengan teknologi. So kita bikin kayak legal service gitu kan. Yang idenya sebenarnya kayak medtech tapi ya sama lawyer gitu
Yeah.
kan. But then, of course, it comes with a hurdle juga kan, karena adoption is very hard when it comes to legal kan. Kalau legal kan biasanya orang udah ada masalah dan masalahnya akut gitu kan. Jadi
And this was when exactly?
2016. Jadi
16, right?
2016.
16
Iya,
di Indo, right?
2016 di Indo gitu. Dan the started name itu Konsula gitu kan. Nah, di situ kita ngelihat adoption itu very bad when it comes to paying, right? So sometimes entrepreneurs kan suka, oh, the adoption is great, but it's totally free. Come on, right? Who are we kidding? Ya kan? Kalau adoptionnya bagus tapi free, ya namanya kita makan pakai apa? It's not a sustainable company, right? I mean, those days are gone lah. Ya, tapi at that time juga mungkin basic fundamentals gue, karena awalnya kan gue juga banking and finance lawyer. So there is kayak this apa ya, kayak ganggu, kayak kalau gue ngomong bahwa the adoption is great tapi it's not a paying customer, itu ganggu buat gue sendiri gitu. Kayak I'm lying to who? I'm lying to myself gitu kan. Jadi eventually sebenarnya kalau orang yang gue hadepin di 2016, kalau orang mau pakai service Konsula waktu itu dia nggak mau bayar. Kalau free mau gitu. Tapi at the very basic of it sebenarnya adoptionnya berarti belum di situ gitu kan. Dan ada banyak macam alasan lah kenapa adoption nggak di situ gitu kan. It's easy to say, oh, it's probably the tech is not so good. Yeah, but also kayak maybe it's not the time, right? Di 2016.
Exactly.
Gitu. Dan kita pivot dulu tuh ke jadinya service-nya lebih kayak dokter gitu kan. Ya basically regular medtech lah. And at the time karena kita juga nggak ada background yang medical di situ, it's very tough to go into the industry juga kan. Karena kan it's a regulated industry and everything else gitu. Well, we know lah the problem with the medical industry gitu. So kita nanya lagi gitu kan sama diri kita sendiri, and gue particularly karena kalau di situ kan biasanya kita co-founders pasti kita regroup lah gitu. Tapi kan everybody, I think each entrepreneur, kalau lu ngomong co-founders, inside all every co-founding team itu kan there is an individual entrepreneur, right? So ada company mission tapi ada individual mission. Sebenarnya yang harus ditanyain juga pada saat kita belum ada minimum viable product, belum ada adoption, pasti kan kita tuh sebagai seorang entrepreneur itu misi lu ngelakuin ini semua tuh apa sih? Lu mau ngapain gitu kan? Maksudnya there is a lot of easier way to make money. Udah jadi entrepreneur.
Kayak much easier.
Much easier gitu.
Kayak ngapain sesuaiin diri kan?
Exactly gitu. And I think kayak orang suka banyak bilang kayak, tapi kan jadi lawyer susah, enak dong find entrepreneur, dude, entrepreneurship susah banget.
It's not.
It's really.
I hate those guys. I mean, honestly, I keep telling this story. Jadi I was with e-commerce before, right? I mean, I was with Lazada before. The thing is, kayak, I mean, like, how in the States they say that PayPal, Mavias, and, segala macam is a very long networks and stuff. In Southeast Asia, I think the most common one is the Lazada Mavia, which is a lot of, like, when I was there, kayak, I think almost like, every 2 months or so, ada yang resign, and then, like, they do their own startups and stuff. So, we used to do drinks and gatherings and stuff, and then kumpul-kumpul semuanya lah, sama mereka yang udah resign and start their own companies, right? I was still like with Lazada at that time, and then like every single time we do that drinks and gatherings, like they were always saying, "Man, entrepreneurs is so fun." It's like they're glorifying it, right?
Belum sampai akar ya.
Later on, when I started like my own company, I realized I hate those guys. Like I realized, bahwa it was high service only. It's not that easy. It's not at all. Especially like, when you're solo founders, atau like, you hit COVID, you hit the tech winters, you hit like, here and there. It's a double impact, right? So anyway, okay. Lanjutin please. So
it's a very tough job, right? So I think we got to the point juga, I think sama lah sama semua entrepreneur, kayak lu dihadapin sama situasi di mana you have to ask yourself, right? Why are you doing this gitu? And for me, I think it comes to my individual mission juga gitu. Karena with my personal background, right? For example, kayak it's so funny that people itu actually is made up from their very very personal background. Like I think everybody tuh ada in this journey, they have very different reason. But for me, I feel like entrepreneurship would enable me to lift up a lot of people. just because if lu punya successful company misalnya, and then you can hire a lot of people, and then you can make
Life
their life
better.
better gitu kan. So the idea of it for me it's very very noble, something that moved me gitu. So I want to create a successful company, because with successful company then you can really have a great impact gitu. Kayak buat gua, and actually this is not only for me, actually if we are honest this is for every entrepreneur, impact itu sesuatu yang akan kita bisa achieve kalau company kita sustainable.
Bener.
I mean you cannot talk about impact but you don't have a sustainable company,
Exactly. You
right?
cannot like keep burning investors' money and
Right,
and
gitu.
do something about it.
Right, gitu. Jadi buat gue kayak gue mau lakuin ini, yes of course eventually itu juga ada hubungannya dengan financial, but it's not that, right? Karena for entrepreneurship journey, it's usually like you do all this basics first, gitu kan? Basicnya lu kena dulu, revenue-nya ada dulu, sustainable-nya ada dulu, and then after that you get this financial
You
outcome,
gain, yeah.
right? But it's like a long journey from that. And for me, kayak knowing all that, the answer for me it's still entrepreneurship gitu. Jadi akhirnya walaupun dengan waktu itu udah gagal di Konsula, udah 2 kali pivot, kita juga nanya lagi gitu. So that is personal, right? So after all of us still want to be in the same entrepreneurship journey, and then we ask, what is this burning question buat kita yang common juga, yang kita berusaha pecahin untuk Indonesia. So for example, what is Indonesian
Needs.
very Indonesian problems lah
Yeah.
yang ada, yang saat ini nggak ada yang coba solve. Jadi basic questionnya itu. And for me, and for the company, it ended up being healthy lifestyle gitu. Karena gue juga emang ada ada family punya history, kita ada diabetes lah,
Yeah.
very Indo problem lah,
Yeah.
ada NCD lah gitu kan. Jadi keluarga ada diabetes, ada riwayat penyakit yang terjadi karena tidak sehat hidupnya, seperti itulah. Dan dari situ ternyata itu common gitu kan, di kita bertiga juga kita ngerasa ini problem yang for us it's exciting enough gitu untuk kita coba kulitin dan kita coba cari permasalahannya gimana. Nah dari pemikiran dan misi bahwa kita pengen bikin Indonesia lebih sehat, kita juga bertanya apa yang bisa kita lakukan yang ujungnya harus bisa mass, karena you're talking about impact, right? Kalau
Betul.
impact sebenarnya harusnya bisa mass gitu kan. Dan yang kedua, the adoption itu sebenarnya bisa measurable gitu kan. Dan let's not talk about like free stuff gitu, karena at that time even kalau sekarang udah jelas gitu kan, all investors ngomongin apaan sih free, you have to self fund gitu. Tapi even at that time di 2016 ke 2017 kita ngerasa bahwa the very basic of building a company that has to be sustainable, we need to be able to sell something, whether it's service, it's product, it's anything, right? We need to be able to gain revenue from it. Nah dari situ actually move ketiganya, pivotnya itu bukan bikin produk dulu, tapi kita bikin e-commerce. So like you, it's kind
Oh
of like,
really?
yeah.
Wow, I
So
didn't know that.
right, so
Pakai nama Lemonilo ada
yeah, so lemonello.com itu actually
It's
started
a marketplace
it's
for
a
healthy
marketplace
products.
for healthy products, because orang Indonesia kayak waktu itu kita bikin survei kecil-kecilan dan ada pertanyaan, lu ngerasa hidup sehat itu penting apa enggak intinya gitu kan, dan mereka ngerasa yes gitu kan, cara hidup sehat gimana, mereka nggak tahu gitu kan. Jadi definitely needs education gitu. Tapi we ask ourselves juga, education terus apa gitu kan. Terus eventually orang ada came up dengan kayak kita harus do active lifestyle, which is olahraga, tapi kita juga harus benerin cara makan kita gitu. Terus cara makannya apa yang harus dibenerin? Ya itu yang paling susah, karena makanan sehat tuh gak enak. So you know those simple
Problem
answer
statement, yeah.
actually makanya I said it's like a wave gitu. It got us quite some time to eventually find the answer bahwa hey, you know what, we can make a scalable business by focusing in healthy quality products gitu.
Yang enak.
Tentu saja gitu, sehingga orang Indonesia mau beli gitu.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Sorry, just like let's take a step back ya. Pas Konsula, meaning bahwa you close that business dong. It's like all the shareholder you carry over to.
We carry over to Lemonello.
Okay lah. But is there like any emotional feelings for you, any like emotional attachments?
Yeah. I mean for us at that time, kayak untuk pivot dari Konsula ke Lemonello-nya juga pasti udah berdarah-darah kan. I mean in order for you to be able to change the entire operations from medtech ke waktu itu e-commerce, completely
Completely
different
different
company,
thing.
man, gitu.
Yeah.
Jadi kayak udah ngerasain tuh yang gue nggak usah detailin lah, pasti berdarah-darahnya dari mulai ganti orang segala macem, ganti infra segala macem, itu udah
Yeah.
done
And this was
banget.
2018, is it?
So it was 2016 to 2017. So
17 yang
2017
the
itu cepat banget karena kan
hmm.
uang bocor ya kalau lo nggak ada pemasukan kan gitu. Jadi it has to be very quick decision. So it's actually around a year dimana kayak kita pivot dari Konsula terus ke Lemonilo.
Nice. Okay.
That's a year.
Kayak the last time I met Sinta itu tuh, we were like in this restaurants. I mean, I'm not gonna say what it is, but I was, I think you didn't remember me, back then. Cuman kayak I met you once. You just So it was my first day in Lazada at that time. Terus you joined this, there's this, aduh, like Angel Fund. I don't know, like, I forget, like, what the
My
name of
God.
it. You did this mentorship. So
Oh.
I didn't do anything. I mean, I didn't know anything at that time. Cuman my CEO at that time, which is Florian Hall, he was like, okay, you ikut aja lah sama Duri at that time. And then, like, I was like, okay, what are we doing here? And then, like, I think we got into the same group together. And this is like, we're talking about back in 2017, I think, or so. Long time ago. That was the very first time I met you. Okay, no, like very interesting, very interesting. So like you came from that mission lah, then you feel like this is it. Like dari 2017 sampai sekarang, Min is has been 8 years then. You guys like stay focused on this one. You guys like really scale this into a very mass scale at this point. You feel like this is it?
For Lemonilo?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So,
for you, karena
okay.
kan this is like
Fair.
what you
Fair.
personal missions,
Fair.
right?
Fair. I think I'm gonna answer for Lemonilo first, and then I'm gonna answer for me, right? So for Lemonilo, I think we can grow bigger than this, right? Tapi that's the past optimist side of my entrepreneur real inilah ya mindset gitu. Tapi even I really believe this is not going to be the top scale.
Yeah.
I really believe I think in order for us untuk bisa grow more itu adalah sesuatu hal yang akan terjadi eventually and harus terjadi. Why? Karena at the very least I'm proud to say that now the industry is kind of tackled gitu kan, kayak ada product mass yang all natural, so it's better for you, price is affordable, taste is good gitu. So in a way I know and I have to be very confident to say kayak ya udah it kinda tackle the industry.
Betul, actually the market's moving that direction juga.
Which is I'm totally kayak happy karena menurut gue orang Indonesia akan semakin diuntungkan jika semakin banyak player yang menyadari bahwa we have to feed the people with something better. So it has to go there. I mean, ya lu kalau baca-baca berita lu tahu lah, even in the US aja it's not there, right? In the UK, the government obliged the players, right, to be healthier. Now the US are trying to follow the UK. People in the US are trying to ask, kok ada produk yang brandnya sama, tapi di UK lebih healthy daripada the US version,
Betul.
right? And people should ask the same in Indo.
No, exactly. This is what I keep telling. Kayak, to be very honest with you, kayak apa namanya? I always say this to my kids atau my friends segala macam. We need to do something about like fighting air gula. Karena air gula di Indonesia tuh banyak banget. In a lot of like forms, right? Kayak you go into the streets every single 5 meters yang dijual adalah air gula kan. And it's not very healthy, right? So yeah, so like I think it's a very noble missions lah. And one step forward, right? Karena I mean like I think tadi I bilang bahwa the market is actually maybe moving towards that direction. Karena I feel like orang Indonesia tuh mulai nyadar bahwa and it needs to be like a compromise in the sense that kita udah tahu bahwa every single times we breathe kayak gitu udah nggak healthy di luar. So we need to do something untuk kayak a bit of balancing it. Either like something we eat atau we exercise a bit more lah.
Right.
Gitu, ya.
And there's a lot of things that we need to think about, right? For example, kayak orang tahu kayak the healthiest version of food adalah the raw one, right? Gitu kan. Tapi is it something that you can eat every day? For some people enggak.
Exactly.
Gitu kan. You want something very very tasty juga. And then you need some families, for example in Indo, they need something very practical gitu. Jadi packaged foods. Why we go into packaged food, for example? There's also a lot of thought process gitu kan. Kenapa nggak go to catering? Karena healthy lifestyle product you can also go to catering. You could do packaged food like what we do. You could also do kayak salad bar. I
Yeah.
mean the type is endless. Tapi we go into packaged food because that's the toughest. If you say packaged food, it's generally unhealthy. So itu something yang we are proud. We want to be the better version of packaged foods gitu. So ini bisa dibawa kemana-mana, and then ini awet, right? And then
Betul.
people can say like to the kids for example kayak oh gue pengen makan chips, ya udah lu makannya Lemonilo karena ini healthier
And much
gitu.
practical, yeah, exactly.
Gitu. So because of thinking of the the massive scale yang kita bisa reach, itu ended up mengarahkan kita untuk bikinnya packaged foods. Some of that thoughts itu happen also in the company. And also, so what is the future gitu for Lemonilo? So that was the question, right? Gitu. For me, I want us to really be the number one player in healthy, right? But healthy category has to be bigger in Indo. And we want to expand to other countries too, obviously. Kan karena di luar negeri juga ternyata masalahnya sama
Sama.
juga gitu loh. Ternyata we can be a better version di luar negeri, dan di beberapa negara sekarang kita juga track recordnya lumayan gitu, not bad gitu. So also there is inilah gue senang juga lah ada produk Indonesia yang healthy gitu
Betul.
kan di luar negeri
Oh,
gitu.
yeah.
Jadi itu something yang I think the future for Lemonilo, and hopefully we can carry the brand not only in packaged foods, hopefully gitu. We can be a trusted brand in healthy lifestyle gitu. But we need to think about long term lah,
Yeah.
bukan cuma ngomong 2 tahun 3 tahun, because in the next 2-3 years I think the FMCG category is very cutthroat and we need to be
Betul.
focused on that
It's crazy.
gitu.
I mean, like, I think to be able, to actually get into this size, within like, 7 years only, given that like, you punya competitors, I mean, like, all this global FMCG has been existing in the market for like 100 years or so. That's tell you something, right? Kayak gitu. Which is like,
Thank
itu
you.
like, my one big questions. Is it answering you punya calling? Sorry, like, is it
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
answer you punya
Yeah.
self questions?
Yeah, for me, right now, we grow together. I mean, me as an individual and also the company, we grow together. I mean, as an entrepreneur, we have to be very honest but with ourselves, right? If there is a point di mana Lemonilo grow faster than I can grow as an individual, I have to step down, right? Because that's the best of the company. I think the metrics for me would be what is the best for the company, but
Yeah.
also the best for me. So, and then for example, if kayak Lemonilo grow into the direction di mana kayak bukan gua yang paling pas and I better use my skill for something else, I also not closing that
Yeah.
off gitu kan. Tapi yeah, right now what I can envision myself at least for the next 5 years adalah I grow along with
Yeah.
Lemonilo gitu.
Yeah, makes
But
sense.
you never say never.
No,
with
exactly,
anything.
right? Like, whenever, I mean, to be very honest, if a company is actually grow bigger than like, the founder itself, that's a good sign there. If like, we cannot catch up with the growth of the businesses, for me, that's a win for me, to be very honest with you, right? And then like, I mean, if someone else actually kayak bisa ngurusin, I mean, 100 billion revenue businesses better than myself, which, this orang Ambon yang baru berumur jagung ini, that's okay, right? No, cool. See, like, let's touch a bit of the second highest atau the second apa namanya, the second reasons startup fail atau business fail is because of the conflict of the co-founders. Kayak gitu. Do you guys fight a lot?
Oh yeah, I mean, ya, kayak gini, orang married pasti kan ada ups and downs.
Pasti.
Co-founding team is basically like marriage, and even to be very honest, sometimes I think it's more intense. Karena apa? Karena you spend a lot of your time, majority of your time in the company, right? Kayak lu bangun gini, lu punya waktu 24 jam. Minimum kalau lu baru bikin startup, I think minimum banget 14 hours.
Yeah.
Very bare minimum.
Yeah.
You have nobody else, right?
Betul.
And then after 3 years, it gets better. Maybe it gets like from 16 to 14, from 14 to 12 gitu kan. Tapi it was you physically somewhere else, but your mind stays in the company.
Betul.
We were married to the company, right? Gitu. Jadi kayak ada banyak orang gitu kan yang kalau lu punya co-founding team, ada banyak orang yang pasti kayak semuanya itu punya pemikiran masing-masing. But at the end of the day, I think the benchmark should be like this. This is my principle. Do everybody have the best interests of the company, right? So at the end of the day, if the answer is yes, and then yang tinggal kita putusin adalah best interest mana yang atau pendapat mana yang paling serve the company. So it's not you personally, right? So whoever we choose atau kayak whatever decision that we choose, the company wins. So that should be it, right? Gitu. So I'm very thankful all of my co-founders, kita punya perbedaan kita, tapi we are one of the few yang we try to stick together because I think there's a lot of drama in the startup or finding, building a business. So the most dramatic, I think, relationship, it shouldn't be on the co-founding them, right? It should be the team against the world, right? It's not against each other.
Each other's,
So yeah, as long as the mindset is like that, I think you end up good. Kayak menurut gue, mungkin banyak yang terjadi adalah kayak sebenarnya ego wins, and then we kind of forgot. I think we have a fiduciary duty as a co-founder to think like that, gitu. To think it's not siapa punya decision yang paling benar,
It's the
tapi
business
decision
first.
mana yang paling serve the company.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think the next question is maybe you get this a lot, being this is cutthroat industry is one. Second adalah you punya co-founders is all guys. Kayak gitu. And this is Indonesia, it's not like United States, right? I think it's getting better there. It's not really as well.
I think they're probably better.
Oh yeah. Then how is it? How is it like becoming a lady boss? Kayak, is there anything funny that you can share?
Yeah.
All those things. Karena I give you a bit of story. Jadi dulu pas I started my own, High Fast, right? Of course, we fundraise, right? So there's several investors yang memang benar-benar, I think they like the business and everything and stuff. They don't invest only for two reasons. They didn't invest only for two reasons. One is that I don't have a co-founders. Jadi a solo founders is a big no for them. Second is that because I went to a local university. Kayak gitu. And that's the only reasons that they have on their checkbox.
So local university and women, ya. Yang kedua, sorry, what?
And solo founder.
Solo founder.
Gak punya
sorry.
co-founder. Kayak gitu. How about did you experience that kind of thing even until today dan segala macam, or is it?
Yeah. Gender is funny, right, Matt? Gitu. Kayak people won't say it out loud. I think that's the thing, right?
So-
Kayak it makes people feel like they are petty in a way kalau kayak mereka ngomong bahwa gender is a problem. But you cannot see it, but you can feel it. And I think first yang harus kita jadiin basis adalah, and I think nggak semua orang akan terima ini, tapi we live in the same world, but it's a very different world. Men's perspective and women's perspective.
Yeah.
And every woman at first and every man at first will think kayaknya itu perasaan doang. But then you start to see the research, it's not, right?
It's not.
It's very different world. Gitu.
Exactly.
And you can see kayak di Indonesia contohnya adalah kata-kata kayak lu kenapa sih kayak emosi banget kayak like, perempuan lagi man, right? And it turns out by research gitu kan kayak mungkin perempuan ada kekurangan di situ tapi ada kelebihan juga gitu yang it's kind of actually make up, right? Whatever we're lacking of. If you can say it's lacking, right?
It's not less of the men. Men also have reasons kayak gitu sometimes, right?
Gitu kan. Tapi the very basic adalah for me at first, I'm not thinking about what other people think about me. And as an entrepreneur, you kind of need that mentality. Whether you're a guy or whether you're a man or a woman, you need to have that kind of mentality di mana you have to say, I don't care what other people say. I'm gonna do me. Right gitu. And doing you nggak 100% benar pastinya gitu kan. Tapi you need to have this hyper awareness of the world around you. And my hyper awareness about the world adalah that we are living in the different world. So women said, and according to research, that women have more unpaid work
Hmm.
because after we came home, we
Yeah,
need to do this unpaid
exactly.
work, right? Men, by research globally, they need to do about half an hour, 30 menit, while women 4 jam gitu. So kayak berkali-kali lipat. That's unpaid work,
The double job.
right? Right, gitu kan. Tapi on the other hand adalah men, by research, I hired for their future potential. Women are hired by their current experience. Women are hired by their current experience. And because of this hyper awareness, I know that, and I get it why women have to work harder,
Hmm.
because the world will always, again, of course, selalu ada lah ya company anomali yang nggak melakukan itu, and we're trying to be
You
that
want,
type of
yeah.
company. But then generally, knowing that women need the experience while men are hired by potential, and then knowing that fact, what can you do,
Yeah.
right? You have to kind of stop the self-pity and just work,
Yeah, exactly. Face it.
right? Face it,
Front
gitu.
face.
I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
what else, gitu. So, and then kalau lu akhirnya udah membuktikan itu, people with sound mind and with mindset kayak what's the best of for the company eventually will say fine, we need you, right, gitu. And as a woman, you are also need to be more effective juga gitu.
Yeah.
Kenapa? Karena kayak, and if you have this hypersensitivity to the world around you,
Yeah.
kayak kalau lu teriak gitu dibanding lu as a woman teriak sama cowok teriak, the world is kinder to men,
Yeah.
right? Because the B stuff kan kayak women are gitu kan. Kalau cowok enggak, kalau cowok bos, kalau women gitu kan.
Yeah.
Those hyper awareness, and then it kind of kayak it grows on you, and then you say at one point kayak udah, the world is like that, and so what? But on the other hand, I'm also very lucky karena my co-founders, they are Indonesians, tapi mereka punya education, semua backgroundnya nggak terlalu Indo-Indo amat,
Iya, betul.
gitu loh. Jadi mereka ya terima gitu gua dengan keperempuanan gua.
Yeah.
And thankful that I'm still the co-CEO, meaning kayak ya
They
udah,
see
mereka
you as
juga,
equal. Yeah, exactly.
iya, mereka juga terima gitu kan, bahwa ya at the end of the day, who's the best for the company, right, gitu, at the end of the day, gitu. Jadi gua nggak akan bilang kayak semuanya karena gua. I'm also lucky that I am living in the environment di mana they accept women also, karena ada juga environment di mana womennya bekerja jauh lebih keras and they just don't accept, right,
Betul.
gitu.
Betul, karena that's the worst. I mean, in the sense that like yang you bilang tadi ya, bahwa they don't say it, tapi kayak you can feel it. That's the worst, karena that's very counterproductive.
It's bias, right?
And that's counterproductive karena kayak you jadi bingung juga kayak, I mean, kayak I just wanna work, right? Like that's exactly the point, right?
It's just the world, Matt. I mean, what can you say? I mean, kayak what can we say about our generation as a human being, right? Contoh kayak I mean, I'm just gonna talk about kayak jadi international politics. I mean, we know who people choose. I mean, the Americans, right? We know who Americans choose. I mean, Americans, it used to be there like the epitome, right? Kayak a lot of us Indonesians kayak kita pengen sekolah ke US gitu kan.
Yeah.
Kenapa? Karena kita ngerasa kayak US tuh kayak dengan American dream-nya, dengan level of education-nya and everything, kayak they are supposed to be like the most kayak the
Yeah.
smartest gitu kan, the most sophisticated. But they ended up choosing someone yang we know lah kayak view
Kayak
dia ke
gimana.
women kayak gimana. So it says a lot about our generation, right? Gitu loh. Jadi I'm not gonna say kayak, oh, you know what, kayak the world is also kind to women. No, the world is not kind to women, but also the world is not kind to Asian, for example.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Gitu. So what gitu kan?
I mean, like, at least you start to actually, I mean, building a bit of a different cultures within you punya organizations lah, like.
And that become your responsibility.
Exactly.
Once you are there with this hyper awareness, ya udah, lu harus bikin company lu punya philosophy and culture yang totally beda. So you have this more beautiful bubble, but it's still a bubble.
Betul.
Right? Karena outside of your company,
It's
it's too different.
Bener banget, bener banget. I mean, like, I mean, gila, one of like, the similar thing yang kita experience, kayak I always say this, apa namanya, like, you kayak ngerasa nggak sih kayak kebanyakan orang Indonesia tuh di overpower by orang West, like bule.
Yeah.
I mean, like, in the professional cultures atau industry where, like, you work with the with the non-Indonesians guy, right?
Indo lebih pinter loh.
Exactly, right? Kayak,
I mean,
kayak,
we went there to the creme de la creme of education.
I mean, kayak, come on, it's crazy, right? But we've always overpower karena apa? Karena kita bangsa yang sungkan,
Hmm.
gitu loh. Dan I mean, like, it's a cultures that I mean, gue selalu kayak bilang, I believe that, like, this is because of the the mindset that has been apa namanya forged
Iya.
karena kita dijajah 350 tahun
Hmm.
dan kita selalu menjadi bangsa yang di
Hmm.
bawah, bukan bangsa yang di atas kayak gitu.
Hmm.
But I believe bahwa like this is like really amazing times to actually change it kayak gitu karena with the media social itu kan essentially is actually I mean it has a pro and cons, but like the way that I see it is a medium untuk increase your confidence level, right? And I think like we're one of the biggest adoptions of the social media in the world, right?
Hmm.
And we should like utilizing that karena there's no points. I mean, in my stupid head ya, bahwa you mau bikin gimana pun, kalau your confidence level
Hmm.
is actually like gampang di-intimidate atau gampang di-overpower by like anyone else, kita akan selalu menjadi bangsa yang I call it sebagai kitchen nation. Jadi atau factory nation,
Yeah.
kayak kita nggak akan bisa selalu bisa ngebawa brand as a global brand. Kayak we do brands as well. We wanna like bring our cosmetic brands into a global brands kayak gitu, right? But to be able to actually do that, we need to be bold. Cannot like be over atau shy with the competitions because like I mean a US brand has tried to bully us with discounts atau with marketings or anything else kayak gitu, right? So that's what I keep saying. Okay, good. I think like that's 45 minutes already, and I've been told that like you have a hard cut. So I think that's a good untuk ending this episodes. Thank you so much, Inda.
Thank you so
Thank you for like inspiring episodes. Jangan bosan-bosan kalau kita panggil lagi. And thank you guys. We're gonna come back next week with a more and more amazing founders.